Alright, it is now time for raising funds for World Domination, day number 158. So, it's time for the daily update. EL1XR says, hello, how's it going? Congratulations on being the first chatter. So we're counting down the days until the October 6th hearing. Let's see, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah. Exactly 1 week. Yeah, so we're at a week countdown. So I'll be, I guess there's not too much preparation to do on that, but yeah, I'm sure there'll probably be more communications and probably more changes and updates as I'll have to respond to as the days count down. The last major release of the block mining game was on September 10. Last video released was the accounting one, and currently working on a legal commentary video. And I guess I'll call it 66% recorded. I was on a roll today with the recording, and I was thinking maybe I could get it all recorded, and then someone started using a leaf blower outside, so I decided to just take what I had and edit it. But it's all edited, so we got about 33% more to record and edit. So I may be able to finish that tomorrow. As for increasing revenue in the store, the $8 stickers have not sold yet. I still haven't shipped any of the last two that were purchased. Just been busy with other things, but I guess I should think about more about that. But then I also have to contend with the fact that our the postal system in this country is shutting down, so that makes it hard to mail things. Oh, and if you want to buy if you click my shop links, you can get a for $4. It's a good deal. You can for $4 you can get a dedicated block type in the block mining simulation game. And for tonight, we're going to continue with working on the next release, which is going to try to get crafting recipes working. Selectable crafting recipes, and the main push for that is to get a very general purpose UI scrollable list feature, which I'll probably also I'm going to make the item inventory make use of that. So let's begin. I'm back. Not sure you remember me, but hello. So the name kind of looks familiar, but there's a lot of people that come through in the chat, so it's hard to keep track. Orthoplex64, how's it going? I'm starting to learn how to code in Visual Studio Code. Yeah, I think I actually I started out. I think my first thing I tried was like QBasic way back in the day, and then Visual Basic 6 or Visual Studio 6. I started with like the Visual Basic stuff, and then I eventually I got a copy of Visual C++, and I started on that. But I haven't kept up with the Microsoft ecosystem in years. How much would it cost for a big thing added into the game? I don't know, a big thing. I at the moment I'm not able to take like generic requests. But if you want to have a custom block type added and then have a dedication like down in here. So these are various block types that have metallic silver as the dedication. Oh, anonymous. And then, oops. I don't know how to pronounce that. Chrysorobral, James Carrico. Game Div Chad as silicon dioxide. Yeah, so it'll just appear. So the current one that I have for sale is, I think it's called Goethite. It's another, oh yeah, speaking of, there's Game Dev Chat. Yep, there's your block. But yeah, it would be just another one like that, and then it would, it'll appear in the world. So right now, the terrain generation is like the is like the simplest possible terrain generation I could make just to get something working. Eventually, though, I probably will refactor it. Yeah, so like here's I guess that there's not many different types. Need to find a bigger ore vein. There we go. Yeah, so it'll appear as one of these ore types. So those are that there is hematite and see, right now I have issues with the inventory because you can't actually see most of the items if you get a lot of different blocks. So it's one of the issues, design issues I'm resolving at the moment. What is the temperature? The temperature is 1. Something like multiplayer. Multiplayer is on the to-do list, but that's going to be a big feature. What is your favorite game? This is my favorite game. Robert, please tell us before you decide to try AI. I want to see that stream. I already have kind of played around with it a little bit. I'll probably have to do a bit more research before I even am able to but I can use I can go on GitHub and ask it what is it, Copilot. I can ask it stuff about my code, make a certain type of change to something, and I don't know, sometimes the results are like, that's okay, and other times it's just this is like a waste of time. But I know it seems like that's been rapidly improving. It's probably about good enough now that it's probably not too much of a waste of time to really try out. I guess I was kind of waiting a bit more for the whole model context protocol thing to see if if the actual integration into the code base is a bit better. Here's a quick poem if you want. 1,400 words. That's not a quick poem. Sonnet 4.5 came out today. Best in class. Relatively cheap. Is it still improving much? Like for code writing? Augment code integrates it better to the code base. They have a context engine that does that. I prefer Claude code. Yeah, I think I've heard a few people say that Claude is better. That's not what I expected. I guess it's not recalculating that right. Not really sure what's going on there. Sonnet 4.5 came out today. It's a significant improvement from anything previously available. All I use is Copilot. Would you say it significantly improves your productivity, Game Dev Chad? Do you like Bitcoin? Nope. 4.5 also makes it so you can effectively get max capability on the 20-a-month plan. Just rate limited. Previously you had to spend $100 a month. That's getting expensive. Just streamed myself programming on my platform today. Used the green screen. Ever used a green screen? I've not actually. Errors, oh my. Oh, you mean the errors in my game? So that was interesting so that works right now. But if I do close that frame, is it doing the calculation wrong? Yeah, that's not correct. All right, first bug to fix. Copilot, yes, absolutely. I enjoy it because I'm not handing off any of the thinking to the AI. Sometimes use other tools here and there. It's not like I totally avoid them. Just want to start the code and have it complete my lines. Code sections, which give me 50 to 400% speed increase. Yeah, I mean, I guess it seems like it's it seems like people do pretty consistently say it does. It is good enough that it helps them now. So I really do need to get on that. I got too many other things to work on. I need to get the revenue up so I can stop focusing on thinking like what's the next thing I need to do to just get the overall revenue up, and then I can do more of these like more interesting projects that just take more time. Hopefully revenue trends up over the Christmas holidays. Whatever YouTube algorithm change. This month started up like all the numbers were up at the start of the month, and then I think it was what was it? Or no, I guess maybe it was last month. The start of the month was strong, and then then they changed their algorithm or something. All right, I think this is backwards. Oh, actually. All right, that makes sense. Height. Yes. All right, that looks good. Close frame, open crafting. All right, looking better. That direction doesn't work. But we can make it work. All right. Oh, that's not correct. Stocks went up. Excellent. I'm very glad to hear that. Yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world. It really seems like there's like 5 different things, some of which are like economic and bond market things that have been brewing for decades. And then, there's also geopolitical stuff. And I have a feeling that I don't know what's going to happen, but like one of the many things that could happen is going to happen. And then once one of those things happen, all of the things will happen. So it seems like there's a lot of pressure building up. I watched a video from one of these like real estate people. At first I thought it was a recent video, but it was actually like posted a year ago. Anyway, he was talking about he interviewed like a lawyer who helped people fight cases of like there's a big problem within the States. The local governments are constantly reappraising people's houses as being worth more, and they're doing that so they can extract more tax. So some people are getting like 10% tax bill increases every single year, and a couple of them got like a 30% increase. And this guy does like statistical math and stuff, and he did this like thorough analysis to basically demonstrate that his claim is that a lot of this stuff is basically like total fraud. It's like what they're doing, what these states are doing is they have a budget deficit, and the way they make it up is they're like, okay, we need to come up with this money, so how do we like randomly adjust taxes for people in such a way that they don't really notice, like they can't really attribute it to anything, but we can recover X number of like millions or billions or whatever. But the thing is, they're doing this over and over again. And I didn't completely follow it, but there's something like where some of the money they're doing this to basically like paper over like some compounding debts. So they're not paying off these debts, and then they're like hiding it by like deferring the interest payment into future property tax increases. But the effect of it is like it has a compounding effect. So the only way that like system is going to happen, apparently it started in 2016. The only way that this can be sustained is like if taxes increase exponentially forever. And he's got a bunch of lawsuits and stuff going about to try and fight back on this. And he said that the bigger claim is like there's actually kind of like a scandal in the real estate market. So, and if it doesn't get fixed, eventually like all these bonds and stuff are going to implode. All right, that's looking good. I'm being pretty selecting in my investments option plays. A lot of my thesis is working through analysis. Media ready to pour cold water on anything good like that. Yeah, I think when stuff really hits the fan, the issue is that like everything is going to be correlated. Like there's going to be massive moves in everything, and everything will get correlated. Because that's basically what happened during COVID. Was that as soon as they printed money, basically like everyone, if you invested in anything, you made a lot of money because everything just went up. And then kind of as the stimulus dissipated, the correlation started to deviate a bit. Yeah, I'll try to find the video and send it to you if you're interested. Red Devil 43 says, hey Robert and people, how are you guys? Not too bad, just working on the block mining simulation game. I use Grok, especially Super Grok. What for? Like for coding or? I used to use it for image generation, but then I started using ChatGPT, and ChatGPT was better, so I haven't actually used Grok in a few months now. Hope everyone is feeling good for code or for brainstorming in general. Does Grok have like an interface that you can use it in an editor? I would figure using Grok would be a very kind of cumbersome for coding, because you have to copy and paste, and it wouldn't have access to your code base, I assume. But I don't know, I'm probably behind this. So many like simple updates that make these tools more powerful. Have to wear but hallucinations, yeah. That's one of the things that kind of really turned me off from it, from AI coding a lot. Especially if you ask it for like show me a thing in the code that I can change, and then it says change this from this, but the source thing doesn't exist. So I guess what I want is for that to basically appear at the end. I don't think it will hijack the whole text sector. I think it's about enhancing time and principles. More like a fun game to play around as well, I guess, the whole AI thing. Yeah, I've dabbled in it a bit, but I've still yet to actually sit down and give a serious analysis on it. I did a couple streams where I asked AI about my own code base. I kind of reviewed the results, and they were not the greatest. So I'm going to need a flag. I need a flag that will think it will become a bubble in the future. The concept of a bubble is it's not a very precise question. I think we're definitely in the phase, like in any new technology, there's a phase where money is given out indiscriminately, because the first phase of a technology is you just throw money at it, and then you collect the data. And once there's empirical data on, like, is it profitable? Like a lot of these tools that they charge $20 a month or whatever, they're burning through crazy amounts of cash, probably because of like abuse and power users and stuff. And then they have to look at the numbers afterward and see, like, is there a business case for this? Like, for the average user, if we, like, get rid of all the bots and stuff and rate limit people a bit differently and improve efficiency, can we make money on this? So, like, right now, I think they're losing massive amounts of money, which is like the bubble. But the question is, after everything's said and done, is it going to be sustainable? I think it probably will be. Like, it's going to stay. I don't think it's going away. It's only going to keep getting better. I think you'd enjoy just having code completion. Usually we'll know exactly what you're going to do. Type online or code block. Yeah, that was one of the things I was going to get with NeoVim. But I still have yet to play around with NeoVim. All about the engagement and enhancing the whole experience. I think for stuff like the cases that I really like are like AI art generation. It's like very, very handy for that. I know people like hate on AI art, but like there's certain clip art and stuff like it's just, there's no contest. There's no, if I can get it from an AI for free in a couple of minutes, but I have to like find an artist and go back and forth with them, and I'd have to pay like thousands of dollars to an artist to get like, a couple of prompts worth of AI art. AI is holding a lot up because of CapEx spending, but we're not in a financial bubble yet. Yeah, the scale of the financial stuff behind it is pretty breathtaking. Like the fact that Microsoft bought a nuclear reactor. was thinking about how to do that. I think that like the proper UI for this should be when I go down to like item 9. You know, when I select down to 9, it's like down against this. And then it'll show part of number 5 up here. We may trek into bubble territory through the holidays. Fundamental things don't improve. Could go on 2-3 years. S&P could get to 9,000. Yeah, I mean, I've thought about that, a lot of that stuff for years, but it's so difficult to predict the macroeconomics of things. But like, just because, for the most part, it's the economy is getting more toward like a centrally planned thing. Like the government just decides that they want to just print infinite money, and then things go up or things go down. Like the government could make the market go up if they just print more money. Or even things like, you know, if the housing market starts to tank, they just change like collateral requirements, and they change like demand deposit amounts and stuff, and then all the banks go from being like, oh man, we're going to fail, to being like, oh, don't worry, no problem. We don't have to like keep our demand deposit requirements. Duke Yop Bias says, yo, how's it going? I have your, I don't know if you checked out the latest in the block mining simulation game, but your block type, custom block type is added. Yeah, here's an example right here. That's a malachite. my aura generation is not super clever. It's kind of just it just takes all the block types that can render or that can spawn and puts them into like squeezes them into like a gradient range, and then in the dedication menu, there it is, malachite. Actually, one note is I think in the item description I had originally had a different cast number, and I changed it because I'm pretty sure that's like closer to actual mineral malachite. It's hard to figure out. There's like 3 different substances. If you search for like malachite cast number, there's a few different substances, and I think what they do is there's a cast number for like the natural mineral, and then there's a separate cast number for like synthetic chemically produced ones, and it's not a super organized system. Maybe it has potential for financing, bank sector, building trading bot, learning algorithms. Joanne Merville says, "Hi Robert, how's it going?" Gold and silver, and they're flying. Yeah, I think it's I think for a lot of those graphs you have to look at it from the perspective it's not that the value of that thing is going up, it's that the value of money, of like the US dollar, is going down rapidly. But all everyone's currency is going down, so assets go up forever and money goes down forever. And that's the only way to get rid of the debt. It's just inflate it away. Seems like AI use will boost earnings for some companies. The rest will diverge. It'll be really interesting. Yeah, there's also a lot of noise in the signal too. Because there's some companies that might get more efficient, but then they'll be hit by like the broader economic woes. Looks pretty rare. Yeah, I guess it's eventually it's on the to-do list eventually to improve the terrain generation to make it quite a bit more clever. There's lots more I could do in that arena. I have some heart-shaped malachite earrings. Nice. What about the pension stuff? Do you think sometimes we don't know the full picture? Like for some version of the truth? I mean, for pensions, there's been lots of shenanigans. Like if you even just go to YouTube and type in teachers pension fund collapsed or something, and there's tons of examples where like private pension plans, and like some company will promise a bunch of people a pension, and then like it's bought out by a private equity firm, and then they just like bankrupt the company and don't pay them. And some local governments, I think like local governments in some cases, where they were taking pension money and they were funding like these big infrastructure projects, which, I mean, theoretically, if they actually get a return on investment, they'd be, if they're like apartment buildings or something, it'd be safe. But they would, just basically waste the money, and over time, the pension would become underfunded, and this would just be like this ballooning thing that nobody realized until it's too late, and then the people involved are long gone. And so there's lots of that going on. I think there's likely like lots of stuff like that in the system, but the strategy is, you know, going to be to like you just let those things fail piece by piece. If like, you know, one state has a pension issue for a couple of years and then it's a different state for the next couple of years, and as long as it's not everything all at once, which that might get us into trouble, because I think there's lots of stuff in the system that's underfunded. But if everything fails at once, then it becomes a big issue. I love trolling people. Do you ever have that fiendish habit? I mean, some of my videos are trolling videos. This is Vim Fortress. Yep, it is. Oh, that's right. I never troll anyone. Yeah, it's sad that that's the case. I think in like in the 1950s and stuff, a lot of that stuff was that wasn't good. The fact that that disappeared. Oh, maybe that's a scrolling broken. Oh, that might be what it was. Scrolling bug. My favorite part about this man is how serious he is. Excellent. I'm glad that you like that aspect of my behavior. Are you natural evil or chaotic evil? Who said that I'm evil? I'm nice. All right, we gotta figure out an offset. Ultimate trolling victory is when one can distinguish if you are serious or not. And they eat it like slop. Is it? I mean, some trolling. I mean, for some trolling, to be successful, the person has to not know that you're trolling. I mean, I think the true success of trolling is that the right people know that you're trolling, and then certain people don't know that you're trolling. What do I call this variable? You have to be cautious about it because it can lose its value. You can build two different worlds until someone can collide to each other. That's very philosophical about it. Where is our CCP bot chatter today? He was here. He asked me what temperature it is, and I said that it was 1. I think I said that it was 1. That's what I said last time. He asked my wife what my favorite game was, and I said this one. Yeah, I think it was Michael Parker. I really like your short about how I became dangerous. Great structure in terms of cinematography and music. Yeah, that was quite a bit of work into that video. Some people complain I don't put out enough videos, and I know that's true. But the problem is, like, I'd like to put out more, but it's so much work to make stuff that's good. I'd like to make more of those, but like honestly, I just cannot afford to make more. That video, how to become dangerous, that has, like, I think it's got less than 20,000 views. Now, having said that, it is trending around, like, I have like a set of videos that are always trending, and those are often the ones that kind of go viral sometimes. And it does seem to be, like, performing well. It's got that kind of long-term parabolic growth trajectory, but it's a long way from making any money. It's probably, I'm sure it's, if I check the revenue, it's probably made like less than, it's probably made like $2 so far. But I think some of the, having some stuff like that on the channel is like, it doesn't necessarily make money, but it sticks in your brain, and then, like, evidently from people coming, I've had a bunch of people come into chat and say that they watched it and they really liked it, so it sticks in your brain, and every once in a while people will think about it and then come visit my channel again. So unfair that this Cool layout video can't be viral. People can't appreciate art. I think it's mostly down to the algorithm. I think if I made a lot of videos, like if I made like one video like that a day, I think it would really take off. But it's just not possible. Like I could try to pump out more stuff, but it quickly becomes like slop stuff, and then it gets full of mistakes. And for that one in particular, like to physically go to those like real life locations and stuff, and like set up the lighting and stuff, like to physically move, it's not difficult, but it's like moving a light bulb around, getting the like fitting the lights in the mask, like it to like so to light up, to put the light in it, I have had like a 9-volt battery and an LED strip, so I have to like rummage through my backpack, get the thing on, put the set the tripod up, get the focus right on the lens and stuff, get my mask on, put the touch it with the 9-volt battery, and now that I remember, I like the short where you talk about the Linux commands. Yeah, I have a couple videos where I talk about Linux commands. And the one where Thomas the Train appears. Yeah, that one was kind of a silly command, so I figured it deserves a silly video. And I guess technically, I think that was the last one of my favorite command series. I'd like to do more of them, but it's just like it's way down on the to-do list at the moment. Nathan Finch says hello. Hello, how's it going? Hope you're all well. I'm doing pretty good. Slowly making progress day by day. Looks like everyone else is doing pretty good. Everyone's stocks are going up. People have their new malachite blocks. We get good vibes going. There's a video put out about a week ago about ion light rail and how cheap it was to be able to compare it to basically anything else. How do you like the light rail? When they were first building it, there was a lot of complaints about it. I remember there was like some people protesting it and stuff for a while. I didn't really have an opinion. It was I know it just took forever. It was just went on and on and on forever. I guess you say it was cheap to build. I actually never really got into this, but I assumed it was probably, given how long it took, I assumed that it was one of those projects that just was like always over budget and took an insane amount of money. But I guess it's good to know that it was cheap. I guess the majority of people want fast-paced content. Yeah, I think it's also related to like the psychology of like the spaced repetition. So if you put out like 10 videos all at once, people will be like, oh yeah, a new video from this person. And if you put out one video a month, it's like easier to forget about the person. All right, this adjustment thing is going to get complicated. I'm gonna have to refactor this. This is gonna get so full of mistakes. Right, that doesn't look right at all. Right, this might do what I want. Nope. heading out. Have a great one. Have a good night. And hopefully you win the stock market tomorrow. I feel bad interrupting you. Possibly a big percentage of my life looks like this. If you've live streamed it, big percentage of my life looks like this. Oh, you spend a lot of time coding, you mean? As for interruptions, I guess that the whole point of live streaming is that random people can interrupt you. That's just the name of the game. How's the project going? Pretty good. I got through the screen rendering stuff. There's more I could do on it, but I kind of cut it off there to just make progress and focus on something else. But I think it's working pretty decent. What you see over here in this frame, this is I'm just testing it. I'm just developing a new user interface feature, so that doesn't need to make sense. But this over here, like the map area, it's pretty smooth, and I think I mean it's hard to understand. It's a very minimalist interface, but I think for being pure terminal, it's pretty smooth, and it's also intelligible. That's just consuming some wood blocks there. You can see under there's some different you can mine these blocks over here, and I think it's relatively intelligible. The next thing is going to be building a generic list feature, so you can actually select stuff. I'll probably make it look a bit better, but this is just for testing. And then eventually the inventory, I'm going to improve the UI of this with the same selectable list feature. But for now, I'm trying to figure out the edge case of when I scroll to the end of a list. But it's not working. So bored today. Work is boring. Well, I guess I'm here to entertain you with some colors. And this super exciting terminal game. It doesn't work. It's got bugs in it. Can you do a dance? I don't know. My stream doesn't support that yet. I'll have to add that as a future super chat option or something. $500 for dancing. Put dance in the shop. Yeah, I don't know. It'd be it's kind of a convoluted way of purchasing. You have to have a way to redeem it and stuff. Looking cool so far. I saw some streams over the past months. Is it the Terminal TB MSG program? Yeah, it's the same thing. Honestly, for a very large percentage of this 158-day series, the UI for the user's perspective, it's looked pretty similar, mostly because I've been like kind of refactoring it into like an engine, and for the first time now, I'm actually adding kind of like new visible stuff. For $500, I expect you to learn a full K-pop dance choreography. Dancing is hard. There's like a lot of specific movements and stuff to memorize. And it's interesting, like some of the people that come up with dance choreography themselves are like extremely talented, and that comes across when you see like there's various pop stars and stuff that dance, and they do it well, but then when you watch like the people who design the dance choreography teaching the celebrity how to do the specific dance that they made up for that song, it becomes obvious like who's actually the better dancer. And it's usually not the pop star. I think even backup dancers have to hold back a bit so they don't look better than the singer. Yeah, the singers are just actors. They're not these exceptional, multi-talented people that we want them to be. Daniel 8796 Survival says hi. How's it going? Some singers are crazy good dancers too. Yeah, because I don't keep track, but I'm sure there probably are some exceptionally talented ones. Yeah, some of the most successful ones are that like most people would be surprised to learn that they're actually like they're very smart and talented, and they have like superior brains. They're like Einsteins of entertainment and performance. All right, that don't work. Maybe that explains why this is not doing what I want. Smart, but then they also work very, very hard. It's a winning combo. Yeah, some of the ones that have millions and millions of dollars actually deserve it. Like the amount that those people are pushed around to like fly to a different place. Like even though you have like a private jet or something, to go somewhere and like perform in front of all, like to move, like, you know, you'd be physically exhausted jumping around for 3 hours on stage, and you got to get on a plane and go somewhere else and do it again the next day. And you got all these like people around you that are trying to like steal money from you in simple ways. They're like, hey, I'm the lighting guy. I'm gonna put this light up. That'll be $10,000, please. And then Ticketmaster has to come along and steal a bunch of money from you too. Favorite artist just did a concert 3 nights in a row last weekend. That's nothing. All the big ones do one every night for like months and months and months. Don't get me started on Ticketmaster. That was some fun trivia. If you're familiar with Terry Davis, apparently, I think he said he used to work for Ticketmaster. I would expect this to work, but it doesn't. Oh, you know what? That's what my boss says about me. He says, what? That you used to work at Ticketmaster? Okay, that's closer to the behavior I want. Maybe this will work. I'd expect this to work, but it doesn't. Oh, yeah. what does this do? That's not quite what I expected. I guess maybe it's not clearing the background, but it's kind of doing what I want. Why do people CC themselves into emails? Like they're sending an email, and then they, in part of the CC list, they have the exact same email it's from. Sometimes, I think in certain mail things, there was one. It was either Gmail. I can't remember if it's Gmail or Outlook. If you do reply all, it will explicitly include yourself in the CC list, if I remember correctly. So it's like an automatic thing. Maybe. Nice, that's doing what I want. But it's got some rendering issues. I guess I could just explicitly render the borders. email does that? What is it? A new email, not a reply. I don't know. Maybe it's some auto suggestion thing. That's looking pretty decent. It's another bit of progress for tonight. Well, I'll probably leave it there for tonight. I'm going to probably try to drift my start and stop time till a bit earlier. The next hearing date, got to be up early for on Monday next week. So I got to repair my habit of staying up too late. So yeah, next, I think I will. I'll work on explicitly writing out the borders so the list is not glitched. So that stuff with the space in between disappearing, I'll fix that. And then I guess the next issue after that, I'm also going to make this so right now this is just like with one list item wide. I'm going to make this generic list renderer thing work with so at initialization time you can set a max number of, for like the width of like how many lists, number of adjacent lists. So for this thing, this will just be like a wide list that takes up the whole width. And then the inventory, I think I'll make that, it'll be like a dynamically sized. So given how much space is available, you can have like multiple squares where you can select down. So you can go like up and down and sideways and stuff. Anyway, that's it for tonight. We'll be back tomorrow for day 159. All right, talk to you later.